I know it's behind me and I know it's chasing me. So I keep going. I fully accelerate on my motorbike. Hi guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to be doing a story time, and I'm gonna be telling you guys about the time that I got bit by a street dog. I don't know if you want to call it a street dog, a homeless dog. It was a homeless man's dog that I ran into on the street. Okay, let's get started. My brother had bought me a little Razor dirt bike, the ones that are like 2 feet tall for like little kids that go max 10 miles an hour, if not less, and I rode it everywhere. So one day my neighbor and I were like, what do we want to do? Let's cause some havoc. That was kind of our like thing. So he was like, you know what, I think there's a 15 like 2 miles down the road. Do you want to go crash it? I don't know whose it is, but are you down for a 15? And I was like, sign me up. Let me get my dirt bike. We can haul our over there in my dirt bike. But he had a fixie, a pixie, a trixie, whatever those bikes are called, that are like 15 feet tall and your feet usually never touch the ground and they're like dangling. I don't know if that was just a him thing or like everybody's feet do that. Anyway, so he grabbed his bike, I grabbed my Razor dirt bike, and we rode over there. We made it there, success. We didn't know where to put our bikes while we crashed the boutique, or the bouquet, whatever the place is called. And there was this little like wooden, it wasn't like a garage, but it was like a backyard. I don't even know if it belonged to the 15 building, but it was unlocked. So we went ahead and opened it up and put our bikes in there. Once we were waiting for because it was a security guard that was like, you know what they do, they like walk back and forth, pace back and forth, and like, you know, so we were kind of waiting for him to get distracted when I received a call from my mom, and she was like,
can you go give Doña Mari her insulin injections?
We were letting this old lady live in our car, and she had diabetes, so I had to get back home and give her insulin injections
before she crashed.
So I was like, where are you? She's like,
I'm at your aunt's house.
And our aunt's house is like halfway from home and the 15. So it was like in between there. So I was like, oh. I was like, I guess so. I'll go give them to her right now. So whatever, we grabbed our bikes, we locked up again the garage or whatever it was, and we started to head back home. Halfway between the 15 and my aunt's house, we rode down this street. It was pitch black. He was ahead of me, like the gentleman that he is. And all of a sudden, I passed this like village of clutter. You know how homeless people are?
They're hoarders.
So anyway, we passed this homeless man's home. It was like just a pile of trash. I didn't even know there was a homeless man there because of all the trash that was surrounding him. And it's dark. So we passed right by it, and all of a sudden, I start to hear a dog barking. Con ganas. Like... And then I start to hear its collar dangling. And I start to hear its footsteps on the ground, its claws. I know it's behind me and I know it's chasing me. So I keep going. I fully accelerate on my motorbike. So if you guys like motomamis, comment down below. So I fully accelerate. I go the full 8 miles per hour that I can straight down the sidewalk. And the dog is just getting closer by the second. I can start to feel its breath on my ear. At this point in my head, I had already accelerated to full potential. In my head, I was like, I can continue and prolong the situation, or I can just stop and get it over with now and have it maul me, or do whatever it wants to me, jump my bones. At this point, I was ready to give up on life. I was like, I'm not getting away. I'd rather just get it over with now, let it have its bite, y vámonos. So I put my feet down. Luckily, it didn't go for like my neck, my back, or my crap. Well, actually, it did go for my... It went straight for the pastrami sandwich. It missed though. It got me right on the side of it. It got me right here. And then it was well on its way back home. I'm telling you, sometimes you just gotta let life happen and hope for the best. So it bit me, wrangled me a little bit, hit the hay, and I was in utter shock at this point. I could not believe that I was just mauled by a pit bull and survived. So I kind of sat there like, I was kind of offended it didn't come back for seconds, to be honest. I was like, no te gustó, or like, what? So I sat there and I was like, and my neighbor, he turned back and he was just glaring at me like, and he was like,
did it bite you?
And I was like, yeah, it did. And we both just stood there like. Then we started riding back, and halfway between the place I got bit and my aunt's house where my mom was and my brother, we both stopped, and he was like,
is it bad? Does it hurt?
And I was like, it kind of doesn't, but like I'm scared that it doesn't because of how bad it is. Like if I'm in shock and I just am immune to the pain and it's like terrible. So he was like,
you're lying, let me see.
I told you the dog went for the pastrami sandwich. So obviously, my neighbor wanted to look at the pastrami sandwich as well. Like he wanted a taste of what the dog got. So he was like, you're
lying, let me see. It's probably not that bad.
And I was a little bit scared. I didn't know if I was going to tell my mom yet. But I was afraid that it was like super bad. So I was curious too. So me bajé los pantalones, me bajé los calzones. No, I'm just kidding. I know me bajé los calzones. I unbuckled my pants and I had a full bite mark on my leg. And he was like,
are you gonna tell your mom?
And I was like, probably not, because she's gonna get mad at me. And anyway, what are we gonna tell her? We were crashing at 15. My mom didn't know where I was. She thought I was in the parking lot of my building. So I was like, probably not. And he was like,
yeah, you shouldn't.
And then I was like, but that was a homeless dog, so maybe I should. And then we were like,
nah, that was silly.
So anyway, I wasn't gonna tell my mom. I called my brother so he could kind of assess me and tell me what to do from there. And I rang him up and I was like, Carlitos, I just got bit by a homeless man's dog. Don't tell my mom, but like, what do I do? Do you want to come help me put the dog down, or like, you know? And he was like,
well, you better tell my mom or I'm gonna tell her.
So kids, never tell your siblings anything that you want to keep from your parents, because they'll rat you out. He gave me an ultimatum. I was like, I'll think about it. So me and my neighbor continued on our way to my aunt's house. I had completely forgotten about the insulin injections by now. Like the lady, I'm sorry, but Gigi, she was just gonna have to survive for the night without her insulin injections. So anyway, we got to my aunt's house and I was like, Carlitos, hoping that once he saw it, he was gonna be like, oh, it's not that bad, like, who cares, don't tell my mom. And he was like,
you're telling my mom right now.
And then my mom came out, and then I was like, Mommy, don't get mad, but me mordió un perro. And my mom
hates dogs.
I was like, me mordió un perro, and she's like,
¿Cómo que te mordió un perro?
and then I was like, yep. And she's like,
¿Dónde?
and I put my pants down again, and then she was like,
ay, Mónica, ¿y luego, mensa?
and I was like, it's not my fault that the dog wanted to jump my bones, and my neighbor had a 2-story bike that the dog was gonna need an escalator to reach him. Like, it's not my fault. I was the chosen one. Like, what did I do to deserve this? But anyway, fault was mine. So she was like,
I don't know what to do.
so then she called my aunt. So I showed my aunt. She's like,
no, you have to take it to the doctor because it was a street dog and you don't know what those dogs carry. Take it to the doctor ASAP, Rocky.
so we went back home. Who knows what happened to the diabetic lady? I don't know, honestly. I can't remember who gave her the medicine, if she even got her medicine. May she rest in peace. She didn't die because we didn't give her insulin injections. She died years down the line. So rest in peace, Doña Mari. We got home, we told my dad. My dad was ecstatic. He was like,
I can't believe that you just got bit by a dog and survived. Let me take a picture, let me send it to the group chat.
So we went to the clinic and they looked at me. I actually have some pictures of that day that I'm gonna be including here so you guys can get a more like personal perspective. And the doctor looked at me. She's like,
here's a little bit of cremita for you. That'll be $300. Go to the hospital now.
$300? For some Vaseline? Anyway, I paid like $380 for the doctor visit, for them to give me some Vaseline, some petroleum jelly. Then I went to the hospital. I got to the hospital and they were like, you're gonna need a rabies shot. Please wait. They did some calling. They're like, unfortunately, we do not have the rabies shot here, so you're just gonna have to wait until we figure something out. At this point, it was like 12 a.m. and my sister was not home, and she was gonna get home any minute. So we called her and we were like, yo dog, we're at the hospital because I got bit by a dog and I'm waiting for some rabies shots, so we're not home. And then she is a hypochondriac, so she started to panic and she was like,
oh my god, when you have rabies, it starts to spread within like 30 minutes, and then you go brain dead, you turn into a vegetable. You need those rabies shots ASAP, Rocky. She's like, I'll be calling all the pharmacies in town, making sure that you get that rabies shot ASAP, Rocky.
And I was like, okay, you do you, girl. I was chilling in the waiting room. I was like, guess who got bit by people and survived? Me. So then we waited there for a while, for a couple of hours, and then they were like, you know what, Shotty, we're gonna make the rabies shot for you specifically. We're gonna cook that rabies shot up for you. Don't you worry, sit tight. And then we didn't have any service anymore, and my sister was panicking at home, thinking that I had rabies already. We didn't know. It was just a possibility because it was a street dog. Then they called me and they're like, we're ready for you. So I went, they gave me like 5 shots in the butt cheek, and then they were like, come back in 2 days for more. And I was like, bet. I came back 2 days later. I got my second dose of 5 rabies shots, and then we started to walk back home after I had gotten my second dose, and we stopped by a Dollar Tree somewhere near the area of where everything went down that night of the biting. ¿Y no va entrando?
El perro?
This dog barged in Dollar Tree along with its owner. Muy campante, like if nothing happened. The audacity of the dog. It just walked in without a care in the world, staring me down, and I told my mom, I was like,
Mom, that's it. That's the dog. That's the dog, and that's the panzón that owns it.
Not trying to body shame anybody, I'm just angry. And then my mom's knees started to clack with fear. Like I told you, she hates dogs, but she's like terrified of them too, which is probably why she hates them. So she started to tremble in her shoes, and we would go around the aisle, like away from the dog, and go in through another aisle, and when we would come in out through the other aisle, the dog would be in that aisle. We were literally doing Scooby-Doo. That scene where they go through all the doors and they chase. That's what was happening at Dollar Tree, and everybody was watching and enjoying the show. And then while we were in line, hiding behind the sunglasses structure, somebody was like,
oh my god, what a cute dog.
And then the owner was like,
oh my god, yeah, he's so friendly. Like, he doesn't bite. He bit someone recently, but it was just because they passed by on a bike.
And I was like, that was my encounter with the dog for the second time. After that day, I had to go back 4 days after, get another dose, and then go 7 days after and get another dose of 5 shots every time, and then go 7 more days after that. I did that for like a month, where I had to go back to the hospital and get another dose of rabies shots. To this day, I have one of the canine teeth marks still on my leg. I have proof that all of this happened, but I'm fully recovered now. I have some pictures where you can see the scar. I'll put those in here. But anyway, that was the story of when I got mauled by a dog. I don't know exactly what breed it is, but it was scary regardless of the breed. Like, it was no Chihuahua. Okay, so that was the story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I have some pretty gnarly stories that you guys probably think I like take out of my, but they're legit. They're legit. Luckily, I didn't gain any traumas from it. I'm not afraid of dogs. Like, I won't see one and shiver me timbers. So that's good. If I could go back in time and ride my bike on the opposite side of the street and avoid all of this, would I? No, I wouldn't, because I think it's a fun story to tell. So that's the story of how I got mauled by a pit bull. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If the lighting is kind of bad, I apologize. I tried to do my best and parked right under a street lamp. But that's gonna be it for today, because cars are starting to circle me. They've got word that Monica is at Target, and now they all want to meet and greet. So I'm gonna have to go. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment rabies if you made it to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!